and an MSc in global politics. So he's professionally qualified, he's been in Parliament for over 10 years, and he's an experienced politician, and he's been smart enough to back a good horse in dark skies. Over to the Minister. That's it.
Fascinating conference. I'm very impressed by the calibre of other speakers joining me here in Tekapo. My presentation to you today might not have as much science or astronomy in it as presentations from others, but I do hope it shows both my appreciation of the work that you are leading across your communities and the value of this work to growing tourism and hospitality in New Zealand. Thank you, Neilani, for the kind introduction. I understand that you wear many hats in the astronomy and dark sky space as both the President of the Royal Astronomical Society of New Zealand and the Vice President of Dark Sky International. Thanks for your work to champion dark skies in New Zealand and around the world. I would like to acknowledge the Royal Astronomical Society of New Zealand and the Aoraki Mackenzie International Dark Sky Reserve for organising this conference and for inviting me here today. Events such as this allow us to reflect on what has been achieved in the dark sky area today, celebrate the excellent work at a local level, and what focus areas or trends will be in the future. I'm particularly interested in the overlap between dark sky reserves and tourism, which I will speak to later. I wanted to make a special acknowledgement to those who have travelled from overseas to attend the conference. Your presence always makes conferences that much more special. I do hope you get to experience our fantastic southern hospitality while you're here. The conference is an amazing program filled with fantastic speakers. I look forward to hearing about the outcomes of this conference in due course. It is fitting that this conference is being held in Tekapo. The Mackenzie region is home to some of the clearest, most spectacular night skies in the world. This dark sky reserve was the third to be recognised in the world when it was created in 2012. It is the largest reserve in the Southern Hemisphere and one of the largest reserves in the world. In my own Waimakariri electorate, Oxford is now dark sky certified. Earlier this year, Oxford Forest Conservation Area was certified as an international dark sky park in New Zealand by Dark Sky International. This is a fantastic achievement for the region and stems from the dedication of the community. I'm immensely proud of the work the Oxford Dark Sky Society has accomplished, and I enjoyed catching up with Raul Elias Drago recently to hear more about this. Currently around 4.6% of New Zealand is dark sky accredited by Dark Sky International. More New Zealand places are also in the process of accreditation. Representatives from many of these places are here today. The process for achieving dark sky certification is a great example of successful collaboration, bringing together community members, scientists, local iwi, local government, and the Department of Conservation to ensure criteria is met. The government is committed to growing the value of tourism in New Zealand, especially given how important tourism's contribution is to the government's overall goal to double the value of exports over the next 10 years. International tourism is a key component of our sector, with our international visitors spending $11.6 billion in the year ended June 2024. To contribute to the government's goal of priority work for the tourism and hospitality portfolio, I believe that dark skies or astrotourism is complementary to many of these priorities, including growing the value of international tourism and hospitality, focusing on increasing off-peak tourism, enabling regions to maximise the value of tourism and hospitality, and supporting the people who make up the tourism and hospitality workforce. In order to grow tourism's value, I'm focused on growing off-peak tourism and spreading the benefits of our tourism to our regions. I see that dark sky tourism could help achieve these goals. As you all know, there are peaks and troughs in our visitor market, particularly with our international arrivals. We see approximately 40% of the total visitor expenditure over our 3 summer months. It would take a few small miracles to achieve an even visitor spend throughout the year, but it is great to see initiatives such as Tourism New Zealand's 4-year strategy focusing on off-peak tourism. Many tourists who are interested in dark skies come to New Zealand outside of our peak summer season. As many of you know, stargazing is best in New Zealand's winter months when the nights are long and clear. Dark skies parks, reserves and sanctuaries are currently featuring as off-peak attractions in Tourism New Zealand's marketing. It is great to see the shift in marketing and the highlighting of our dark skies as one action towards more off-peak travel. I want to support the regions that our visitors usually travel to, but one of my priorities also relates to encouraging them to go beyond those regions and spend a night in the Mackenzie region, drive an extra hour to Greytown, or perhaps even take the ferry or flight over to Stewart Island. We have an extensive range of experiences within our regions available to visitors. New Zealand has the unique drawcard of having diverse landscapes within close distances. Many of our regions offer high quality, internationally recognised dark sky parks, reserves and sanctuaries, which should be a highlight of visiting New Zealand. Tourism also brings jobs to regional New Zealand. My priority in this area is to support the people who make up the tourism and hospitality workforce. We know that tourism is very seasonal, and those peaks and troughs can make it hard to retain workers in the industry long term. So we need to be looking at how we can market and promote New Zealand during those shoulder and off-peak periods to ensure our talented workers with their expertise and their enthusiasm are retained around New Zealand. This is about making tourism an attractive and viable career path for New Zealanders. Dark sky tourism provides opportunities in this area. An economic impact report commissioned by Enterprise North Canterbury last year showed a dark sky trail would provide an economic boost in the region, generating 4.6 million of visitor spending in Waimakariri and create up to 24 jobs. So as you can tell, I'm interested in the opportunities that both dark skies accreditation for local sites in New Zealand and possibly for New Zealand as a whole bring for tourism and the economy. I'm particularly interested in the potential for stargazing and dark skies tourism, especially as our attention and tourism focuses on new and emerging markets in South and Southeast Asia. An amazing fact I've learned is that 80% of people around the world have never seen a sky full of stars. Coming from Canterbury, it is almost unimaginable that so many others haven't had the joy of seeing a clear night sky. I wanted to give you a couple of examples of research that demonstrates the potential range of opportunities. Tourism New Zealand undertakes research to tell us about what people considering coming to New Zealand are interested in doing when they are here. What this research tells us is that over 77% of people considering coming into New Zealand's off-peak are interested in stargazing while visiting in New Zealand. The Japanese market is a great example. In the Japanese market, there are currently 5.4 million people actively considering visiting New Zealand. Research shows holiday visitors from Japan want to experience New Zealand's wildlife activities, cultural experience, and get in touch with nature. Over 71% of holiday visitors from Japan arrive in New Zealand's off-peak season. In April 2024, Tourism New Zealand released 3 promotional films in Japan, including one showcasing our starry night sky in Tekapo. Dark sky tourism naturally aligns with this market. This is an exciting opportunity to grow interest in New Zealand's beautiful dark sky offerings. Matariki, the star cluster and the celebration of the Māori New Year in New Zealand, is a powerful story for New Zealand to share with international visitors and helps us to attract off-peak visitors who are interested in our unique culture and stunning night skies. The Matariki public holiday is also a unique opportunity for people to experience stargazing in a way that is connected to New Zealand's culture. Our dark sky certified regions are places that offer a spectacular experience for those wanting to celebrate Matariki and see the Matariki cluster. I believe there are a variety of benefits to Dark Skies accreditation. Many communities are motivated by the opportunities from protecting our environment and preserving cultural practices. Others are interested in supporting the development of a dark sky tourism in the region. Many of these motivations overlap, particularly as many visitors in New Zealand are interested in our nature, culture and related activities. As I've mentioned, there are significant tourism benefits for local sites being accredited as dark skies. I think these could have an even greater impact if the country was accredited as a dark sky nation. I'm interested in exploring national dark sky accreditation, and I've asked my officials to explore the opportunities that dark sky accreditation could bring to New Zealand and what barriers we might face to achieve this. Dark Sky International has not yet finalised what national accreditation would look like, so I don't have an announcement to make here today and any commitment for New Zealand to pursue it. But I know that officials are working with Dark Sky International to understand the components and steps it would take for New Zealand to be a dark sky nation. Many of you in this room know that accreditation is not a quick process, but I will look to keep you updated on what we might need from you or your community networks. For New Zealand, I expect Dark Skies accreditation to leverage the great work of the Dark Skies community in New Zealand and the amazingly dark skies across the conservation estate and other Crown lands. To be clear, I don't think national accreditation is about the government directing Aucklanders to turn off lights. It's about how we can recognise our naturally dark skies across the conservation estate and other Crown lands. And I make sure we have the right settings to protect those in the future. The government cannot be the only one driving dark sky accreditation. New Zealand has 8 internationally recognised dark sky areas, including sites in Oxford and my electorate Waimakariri, Mackenzie, Wailaraka, Tasman, Otago, Kokoda, Stewart Island and Great Barrier Island. These communities champion the protection of their dark skies and are essential components to national accreditation. I encourage councils, communities, iwi and other stakeholders to continue to work together to assess the benefits of dark skies and to take the opportunities where they see them. National Dark Sky accreditation is complementary to local dark skies accreditation. The dark sky parks, sanctuaries and reserves that we have are the key components of any national accreditation. I wish you a successful and engaging conference. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to preserving dark skies in New Zealand. I hope that I've shared a little bit about my support for dark skies and astrotourism and some options for us to work together towards shared goals. Please enjoy the conference. I hope you get to spend some time in the wonderful Mackenzie region. Thank you. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you, Minister. Would you like to say a few words before the...
You'll need to speak through this, the mic to...
So this is the mic that's connected to the Zoom to speak to. Okay.
Thank you, Minister. Would you like to say a few words following your recorded talk before the questions?
Well, kia ora koutou, tēnā koutou. Look, it's amazing what edited video can do to make me look and sound as if I know what I'm talking about. So there's probably a risk now I say too much and undermine what I said in the video, other than to say congratulations on what I've heard of the very start of a very successful conference. And I think the reality is, please make sure you know I would prefer to be in Tekapo than Wellington at the moment. The thought of being down there than being stuck in the beehive sounds very attractive, but using technology as a way of making sure that I keep connected with you and the ability, I think, to maybe ask questions, make statements and just give me some feedback around your respective areas of dark sky certification or wider tourism and hospitality. So in a way, it's open to you. I'm here to support any questions or conversations you would like to have.
Any questions, anyone?
So you have to come up to the front to ask questions because we have to use the microphone that's attached to the computer. So yes, if you'd like to come up to the front and sort of make a bit of a line and ask questions.
Kia ora, Minister. Thank you very much. It's very encouraging words that we've heard this morning, but also over the last day and a half of the work that is going on. I'm part of the Aoraki Mackenzie Dark Sky Reserve, on the board for that. In the UK Parliament, there's a cross-party working group for dark skies preservation. Is there a chance in the New Zealand parliamentary setup to have those cross-party working groups?
Hey, look, I'm really interested to learn more about that. I think sometimes in New Zealand we're at risk of reinventing the wheel, and of course if there's great ideas, whether it be in places like the UK or others, I'm very interested to learn and basically replicate that idea of it actually achieving the outcomes it needs. Some in the room might know another role I have as New Zealand's first mental health minister, and I've been very vocal about creating a bipartisan approach to that. So I was actually part of setting up that first cross-party group in Parliament. So if that's what it's needed, I'm more than happy to follow that up for you. And I know that I'm pretty sure it's an area that I think will find every party very keen to be part of. Because the reality is, if we can get that bipartisan support, then we can get the long-term policy solution that's not interrupted by the 3-year parliamentary cycles.
Thank you very much.
Kia ora, Minister. I'm Charlotte Harding and I come from the Wairarapa Dark Sky Reserve Association. And so this is a question regarding conversations going on about promotion of dark skies in the tourism space. How do we influence Tourism New Zealand and government agencies to implement local ideas on a national scale? For example, we have a classic New Zealand wine trail that takes tourists around the country. How can we adapt that for a star trail to showcase the New Zealand dark sky places with the ability to grow as the aspirational groups achieve success?
Brilliant question, and I think to go to the nub of the question, I just don't think we're good enough in New Zealand around taking those local ideas and scaling them up nationally, as you say. I'm quite heartened by when you look at the structure of RTOs or regional tourism organisations, and then of course the destination management plans and dark sky certification or stargazing could be a key part of that at an individual DMPs. Where I think we need to do better is aggregating those DMPs and the RTOs work at the national level, primarily with Tourism NZ. I've been very clear with them. I want to grow the value of tourism, but I want to do it with social licence. I've just come back from in Europe, and it's pretty clear from the media over there. I mean, in some countries like Spain, they're protesting about the levels of tourism. Thankfully, we don't see that in New Zealand, and 93% of New Zealanders report that tourism is good for the country, but we want to maintain that social licence. And I think ensuring that we take communities with us is an important part of that. And when you look at the dark sky certification in a small town of my electorate of Waimakariri of Oxford, to think that potentially could bring in $3 to $4 million and up to 24 jobs, I think that shows that actually tourism can be a great opportunity for smaller towns in regional and rural New Zealand. So I think there's a real opportunity with dark sky certification is to do exactly what you said, of harness the local ideas and bring them together at the national scale. So I'm quite excited about that.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Minister. My name is John Hernshaw. I'm a retired astronomy professor from the University of Canterbury, and last year I submitted a petition to the New Zealand Parliament that we should have a national law to promote light pollution abatement, to reduce the amount of light pollution. And that petition was in January last year. I made an oral submission to the Petitions Committee in March this year to support that petition, but I think with the change in government, this petition momentum may have stalled. Is there anything you can do to reinvigorate, reactivate my petition? I think we need something in the whatever replaces the RMA, or possibly a private member's bill should go through to enable national legislation to have light pollution abatement.
Yeah, look, I think you raised some very good points. I'm not aware specifically of that petition, but if you want to email me at matt.doocey@parliament.govt.nz with the details about that petition, I'm happy to follow up with you.
I will do that.
Because I think what you raised is a very important issue, I suppose, is how do we ensure that we can progress this idea? We do have to be very somewhat careful when we talk of legislation and regulation. Naturally, as humans, we don't like being told what to do, and sometimes that can provoke people to have the contrary response. I am mindful when I spoke to Raoul about the Oxford experience. I mean, some of it was just to go to like the Oxford Rugby Club and say, you know, why do you point the rugby floodlights upwards at night time and not put guards around them? So there's some very simple ways of doing things as well. But I think to your point, as we progress this, and look, it's from Dark Sky International, it's still unsure what that accreditation will look like. There might be a need for full regulation. So I'm happy to look into that as well. But send me an email and I'll follow up about the specific petition.
Thank you so much.
Kia ora, Minister. My name is Alex Tubbs. I'm an associate professor at the University of Otago and I'm a neuroscientist. And I just would like to raise awareness about the impact on human health and also mental health that a dark sky nation status could have, because it might not be immediately obvious, but it could have a huge economic impact in the long term, because we know that if you disrupt the circadian rhythm by outdoor but also indoor lighting, that this can contribute to long-term health complications, metabolic health complications, obesity, diabetes rates go up, for example, cancer rates have been reported to increase. So it could have an impact on that, and if that awareness could be risen a bit more, that could contribute to that status, I think.
Thank you very much for raising that. That's an area I actually had not thought about. And I suppose for this government we call it the social investment approach, where not only would we look at the proposition of dark sky certification through understanding the economic opportunities and supporting growth and incomes and jobs, but I think you quite rightly show that we can look at how it might support areas in social and other areas around cost recovery as well, and I think that's important to show the full benefits, not only economic but social as well, so thank you.
But I mean, the health impact is a huge economic burden to the country, so it would have an economic impact as well in the long term.
Yeah, well that's right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Works hand in hand, it's a good point. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Margaret? You better be ready, Minister.
Hi, Margaret. How are you? What instruction will you give me today?
I can tell you, overnight, what you will get is a barrage of emails supporting the inclusion of something, of a clause or section into the RMA on the importance of lighting. If they can do it in France 10 years ago, why can't we do it here in New Zealand? And it's so important if we are to protect human health and nocturnal life, as well as of being able to observe the stars.
Well said. I'll take that challenge, and with those barrage of emails, I'll talk to my colleague Chris Fisher, who's responsible for RMA reform, and understand where any regulation around this, if at all?
Kia ora, Minister. I'm Ellen Searad. I'm a professor at Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology and associated with the Department of Conservation. And I'm looking into the impacts of light at night on the environment. So I would like to make the case that in addition to the economical benefits and tourism, in addition to the human health benefits, there's also strong impacts of light at night that we have on the environment. And that is also infiltrating not only onto the public conservation estate, but also into the areas that people frequent closer to cities. And so these impacts are ubiquitous across ecosystems and across different species of plants and animals around us. So in addition to all the other things mentioned, it's important to realize that there are multiple benefits to reducing the light around Aotearoa, so that we can, not only humans, but also animals and plants around us can enjoy the natural rhythms of the dark and the light cycles. And so I would urge also from the Department of Conservation that we can work together and work on making this a national sort of effort rather than the localised approach that we're having at the moment.
It's a fair challenge, and I'll take that around the environmental impacts as well. Thank you for raising that.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Minister. This is Ruskin Hartley. I'm the CEO of Dark Sky International. It is wonderful to meet you virtually over a giant screen in a community hall in the wonderful Mackenzie district.
Where are you from, Ruskin?
I live in southern Arizona, but I'm from the UK. So I grew up in a small village and had a community hall very much like this, so it feels like coming home in many ways.
Whereabouts in the UK are you originally from?
I was born in Liverpool and raised just south of London in a small village outside East Grinstead.
Oh gee, you've lost your accent, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's great. If I go back to England, they think I sound American, so I'm stuck somewhere. Actually, they sometimes offer me the compliment, are you from New Zealand? So, it was wonderful to hear your pre-recorded remarks and really recognizing and understanding the economic benefits that dark skies can bring, particularly from a tourism perspective. And I think a lot of the conversation we've been having here is the need to connect into so many other sectors of government. So I'd say from Dark Sky's perspective, very much look forward to working with you to understand how to build those bridges and those connections, and how we can take it from an issue of just the economics of tourism to a whole of government solution that benefits all the people of New Zealand and all the wildlife of New Zealand. And it's clear to me from coming here, the first minute you step off the plane into the airport, the image of New Zealand as its natural lands and its natural wonders, and extending those protections to the night sky overhead is something we look forward to working with you on. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you raised a good point, Ruskin, and it's something I hadn't probably fully appreciated. I mean, the original framing, I suppose, for me, Dark Sky certification and being the tourism minister, we've got an ambitious target to grow the value of tourism by $5 billion over the next 4 years, primarily in shoulder and off-peak. And we know from the data of Tourism NZ that 70% of people who wish to visit New Zealand in off-peak and shoulder seasons are interested in stargazing. So it's a natural fit there, but I think as we start to progress that, quite rightly you're showing that it will start impacting in the other areas of health, social, environmental and cultural that will benefit those areas as well. So that's quite exciting that you can start out with one area, but actually it'll end up sort of crossing across many different government departments. And how close is any other country to be the first dark sky certificate?
Well,
we hold them off to make sure.
Oh no, we like a little healthy competition, and we look forward to continue to working with you on this. And I guess the last thing I'll just comment, you made the joke, it's not about turning off all the lights in Auckland, and we certainly support that. This is absolutely not turning off the lights in Auckland or Christchurch or Wellington or any community, but it is talking about how do you go about doing that how do you go about lighting our cities so that they're beautiful in a way that saves the government and the citizens money, in a way that supports public health, in a way that supports the environment as a whole. And I think that's the leadership that New Zealand has the potential to showcase the world here.
Yeah, and really happy to take up that mantle. Although as a very proud one-eyed Cantabrian, I would have a few giggles turning the lights off and all.
Thank you, Minister.
Good afternoon, Minister. I'm Letitia Jacobs from the Tourism Ministry, Tourism Department in South Africa, and our Minister has just recently launched our National Astrotourism Strategy, and we've done this with the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. So I'm really here to just ask if there are any possibilities so that we do have international bilaterals, so that we do learn from each other. New Zealand has more accredited establishments. Unlike South Africa, we do not have, but I think our situations are very similar, that in our winter seasons is our off-peak season, but again, we want to encourage seasonality so that we have visitors across the year, again, with special interest tourism as well, so that we have a variety, that people don't only go for the obvious attractions, but again, diversify tourism experiences and attractions across the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, lovely to meet you, and really impressed that you've come so far to be part of what seems to be quite a world-leading conference. And I know from being a tourist in your country of South Africa myself, what a beautiful country you have. And the offer is open as well. If you'd like to get in contact, then maybe through my officials we can support some bilateral relationship about how we can share ideas. And maybe, as Ruskin said, a healthy sense of competition, who might be the first country to be
Great, absolutely. Tourism New Zealand is also here, so we'll engage through them as well. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll have my number.
Minister, this is Nalaini. About competition, Wales has 17.6% of their land mass already certified, and they did it by bringing in 3 national parks. So if you get the national park certified, we'll leapfrog over all our competition.
And well said, because if I'm right, the figures I saw this morning, I think, what are we, 4.6%? And so Wales is 17.6, that's a good challenge. And like you say, if we certify our national parks, we'll come in leaps and bounds there. So there's probably some low-hanging fruit there, some easy opportunities. Before we move into the harder stuff. And I suppose I'm not a big man strategy for a big person for strategy. I'm not necessarily think strategies are that successful, they can sit on a shelf. But give me a roadmap that we can highlight the first 4 or 5 things to do, achieve them, and then move on to the next 4 or 5. And I think partly what we're starting to articulate here is how do we create a bit of a roadmap that will navigate some issues across different government departments, agencies outside of government, but obviously have that universal goal of being the first country in the world to be dark sky certified. I'm just looking at my officials now. I've made that statement of wanting to be the first country, and I think they're brief as they think I'm trying to make a promise.
Good afternoon. My name is Yannick Kushna. I'm a lawyer, researcher, and dark sky protection educator. I'm based in Belgium, in Ghent, so it was a pretty long journey for me to be here, but I'm very happy to be here. So I'm working a lot with the national governments of the member states and also with the EU government bodies towards the changes in the policy and the regulations to address the broad range of light pollution impacts. So my main question would be whether New Zealand is interested in what is going on in other countries and whether the international experience and knowledge regarding regulatory framework would be interesting for New Zealand to build up the path towards the adoption of light pollution law here.
Yeah, I think it would be. And can Belgium move on its own, or would you have to do that in partnership with your member states of the EU?
I mean, Belgium is not the best example of light pollution regulations, but we have some success with Croatian governments. Czech Republic is working towards it, Spanish government, French government, Germany. So there are a lot of good examples which we can share the knowledge to this country, maybe is a good example.
Yeah, and are those regulations across the whole member state, or they're just individual member states?
Individual for now, but we're working towards the adoption at the EU level as well.
Yeah, brilliant. No, really keen to hear more about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Thank you very much, Minister. You've been very generous with your time. I know there's cabinet meetings going on. I will collate all the inputs and get it down to you, and I'll continue to liaise with your people. So thank you very much. We will give you a debriefing from the conference and some of the ideas that were proposed in the last 15
please
minutes.
do that. We could jump on a meeting via Zoom at some time when it's convenient to you, and we can have a bit of a debrief and think about how we move this forward. So once again, congratulations on what I've heard has been a very successful conference today. Enjoy Te Kapo. I'm very jealous and look forward to working with you all going forward. Thank you, everyone.